evening and welcome to Inside Jacksonville, a production of the UNF Department of Communication and CW17. I'm Annie Black.
And I'm Ashley Young. We're here each month with stories about life on the First Coast.
Our theme today reflects the purpose of this long holiday weekend, over and above big turkey dinners.
We'll introduce you to several people who are especially thankful, many for the adversity they've overcome.
We'll meet people who have survived health problems and others who have turned their lives around after rocky starts.
But we begin with the story of a woman who blew the whistle on one of the biggest scandals in American military history. Lauren Hersey joins us live with the story. Lauren?
Paula Coughlin's story is an example of how doing the right thing isn't always easy, but she says she'd do it all again because it made her the strong, centered person she is today. Paula Coughlin owns a yoga studio in Atlantic Beach. She says practicing yoga helps her find clarity and peace. There was a time when her life was anything but peaceful. She was a victim of one of the worst abuses in U.S. Navy history. It happened nearly 25 years ago at a convention for naval aviators. It became known as Tailhook. Some 90 people sexually assaulted in a corridor at the convention hotel. Coughlin was the one who blew the whistle on the whole debacle.
As women walked down the hallway, they closed ranks on the person in the hallway and they start trying to pull your clothes off and knocked me to the floor, reached underneath my skirt, tried to pull my underwear off, just complete mob scene groping, and actually kind of pushed me down the hallway as everybody was trying to get their hands on me.
Coughlin said the attack was more than a brutal assault. She said it was betrayal.
I walked into a group full of naval aviators that I worked with that I thought were, my comrades in arms, and was assaulted by them. And they actually chanted Admiral's Aid, Admiral's Aid. They knew who I was. It turns out I was actually a high value target.
Coughlin says she knew it was the end of her career when she told her boss, Admiral John Snyder, what happened.
The next morning I had breakfast with Admiral Snyder, and I told him what had happened, and his words were, "That's what you get. That's what you get when you go down a hallway full of drunk aviators."
That seemed to be the same attitude of the Navy's initial investigation, which blamed the attack on a few low-ranking naval officers. But Assistant Navy Secretary Barbara Pope refused to accept the report and insisted the Navy do another report and look at what we needed to do about accountability and responsibility and the larger issues at hand. The careers of 14 admirals, including Snyder, and nearly 300 naval aviators were scrutinized, but they were never prosecuted. Coughlin ultimately resigned from the Navy and is now a victim advocate, saying little has changed.
Nobody else 20-some years later could still be fighting the Navy over how they treat victims of sexual assault. I wouldn't want anybody to do it. It's a terrible job. But since it's mine, I think I can own it and press on. And I couldn't have done that without learning how to process quietly in my own head through yoga.
That's one reason why Coughlin opened her studio. Melissa Sherman is an instructor there. She says Coughlin's gratitude is apparent in the way she teaches yoga.
Her thankfulness about life and her appreciation for her yoga is apparent. She's one of the most enthusiastic yoga teachers. To take a Paula ocean yoga class is like experiencing an entire wrap-up of personality and enthusiasm and support and graciousness and gratitude for life.
Coughlin says she's thankful for the things that happen in her life because without them, she wouldn't be where she is right now.
We all have so much abundance in our lives that we can actually sit down together and count our blessings and count what's going right in the world. I always think that's, gratitude is the beginning of every positive emotion in your life. And I just think that that's a really good place to start.
Coughlin says she still thinks about the incident every day, but she's thankful she's been able to find peace through yoga. Annie and Ashley?
Now, Lauren, Coughlin seemed to say that she doesn't think there's been much of a change in the military culture. Did she mention any specific examples?
She did. She actually said it's gotten worse. In 2012, there was about 26,000 service members who were raped or assaulted by someone they worked for or with. Annie and Ashley?
Thank you, Lauren.
That's really terrible.
It is, but the fact that she's an advocate for it now, she can help other people get through it.
That's
and
true.
Have an outlet.
This next woman is thankful for a lot, but most of all, she's thankful to be alive. I spent some time with her to hear her story. Anna Furbush is a talented pianist and teaches piano students for a living. She and her students are getting ready for the recital. She's thankful for a lot already, mostly the fact that she's still alive. Furbush almost died a few years ago. 5 years ago, she took a missions trip to Haiti. Right after that, she traveled to North Carolina for her grandparents' 50th anniversary. She started feeling ill, but was told it was just the flu. She thought it might be something else.
It was starting to look like it wasn't the flu, it was looking kind of different than the flu symptoms. And so I went ahead and went to the doctor there, and they wound up doing blood work, and they told me that they diagnosed me with malaria.
Even though Furbush was really sick, she said she was relieved that they finally knew what was wrong. Malaria is a parasitic disease that is usually passed from mosquitoes. It can also be fatal.
The doctors told me that everything, like I was really, really sick. They told me that they didn't know how I lived, because my, it's called a parasitemia count. My parasitemia count was 17%, and they said that when you're anywhere like from 15 to 20%, then it's unlikely that you're going to live.
Furbush was too sick to feel anything. After a 5-day stay in the hospital, a blood transfusion, and taking antibiotics, she got better. But there were some really scary moments in the recovery process.
There was a point where I stopped breathing. My sister if I was asleep, my sister would wake me up to breathe and everything because I was just that sick.
Furbush is fully recovered now and has been on more than 5 mission trips to Haiti. And there's more good news. She and her husband are getting ready for their very first child.
That's extremely fortunate. Do they know the gender?
They actually found out last week, and it's going to be a baby girl.
Awesome. Well, sometimes we're thankful when we're able to overcome our mistakes.
When life falls apart because of our own choices, second chances are even more precious.
Carter Roush has a story of a woman who's finally finding purpose in her life.
Every morning when Michelle Stratford wakes up, she's thankful for a second chance. For 2 years now, Stratford has lived in a city rescue mission, seeking help to overcome the troubles of a past life filled with addiction and prostitution.
I could not go through my day unless I had a drink, so it would start out with panhandling. And then by the afternoon, I would end up doing prostitution.
She now works for Rethreaded, a nonprofit organization that spreads awareness about the sex trade industry. She, along with the rest of the employees for Rethreaded, turned discarded clothes and fabric into new clothing for women. Also, like the employees of Rethreaded, Michelle Stratford comes from a broken past.
I'd have to get the liquid courage, which was drinking, and then get up enough nerve to go sell my body to men and to get my drug, which is crack cocaine. And this went on every day.
This house is on Phillips Highway, in the middle of a stretch of the road notorious for prostitution. Before Stratford finally sought out help, this is the area where she plied her trade. She left this red light district behind after the City Rescue Mission accepted her. Angela Cook is an administrator at the City Rescue Mission who was there when Stratford was first brought in.
When she came to CRM, she was broken, but she had changed her mindset. When she came in, she had no purpose for living. And she heard about the City Rescue Mission, and she heard that there was an opportunity for her life to be changed through the counseling and the various programs that we actually offer.
Kristen Keene is Stratford's boss and founder of Rethreaded. She says that Stratford's story is similar to many other women. Michelle is different, she says, because of her determination to find meaning in her life.
She's just super calming, good salesperson, knows her product well. Very proud of her. I have lots of big plans for her. I just see her moving up in the company, like we're expanding our company through home parties. This is the first year we did a lot of focus on that. And she does really well. She's like a people person, so she does really well around people. So I want to see her become a party lead and take leadership.
Frederica Browder works with Stratford. They started here 2 years ago. She was also a prostitute that came from a similar background at Stratford that helped the two bond over the years to form a friendship.
She's an awesome person to work with. Yeah, she's an awesome person to work with. She's just at the point in her life to where she's finally finding out who she is, and she's enjoying that feeling.
Through Rethreaded, Stratford is able to work out her past demons by working for an organization that strives to end the sex trade industry, something that she has wanted to do since she first became sober.
It was a goal I set. When I started feeling comfortable here at City Rescue Mission, realizing that I had a place here and that I had hope, I set that goal to work for Rethreaded.
Stratford's time here is coming to an end. She plans to move to a sober house with other women, but she'll stay at Rethreaded so that she can continue helping those who want to turn their lives around as well. Carter Roush, Inside Jacksonville.
Now, most of us spend holidays with family and friends, but not everyone's that fortunate. Jasmine Skinner has a story of a man who once had to spend holidays alone.
Randy Jones enjoys shooting around on the basketball court. He had dreams of becoming a professional basketball player. He played for his high school team and even received a college scholarship.
Shooting around, it makes me feel very relaxed, but also reminiscent of my high school days and my very short college career. And it makes me always wonder what could have been had I not got in trouble or if I'd have stayed in school and I lost my scholarship. So it's relaxing, but at the same time it makes me think, and it makes me kind of thankful that I can still come and have my freedom and shoot around when I want to.
Jones appreciates the time he gets to spend with his friends, playing video games and enjoying guy talk with his close friend Kennard. It's nights like these when they hang out for hours and talk about life.
Randy inspired me a lot just to get up and keep going. Like, it ain't nothing to get back up, because I've been down before and I've been down a lot. So I just talked to Randy get me right.
Jones's mother, Brenda Metlock, prepares holiday gifts for her grandchildren. She shows her love to her sons any way she can. She taught them to be smart, loving, and giving.
Randy is a very, very smart young man. When he was little, before they even started giving points to African Americans for being African American and for being male, Randy missed being gifted by 1 point. So he's always been a very intelligent person. He was just an intelligent person that made bad choices.
That may be so, but Jones is also a convicted armed robber. He says he started getting into trouble even before he was a teenager.
First time I actually went to jail when I was 12. Walking a long way, shooting BB guns at people, and police picked us up and took us to the juvenile detention center. I stayed out of trouble for about 5 years, and then once I hit about 18, that's when I really got in trouble. I went to jail for an armed robbery and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. So they was trying to give me like 10 years in prison for it, but I ended up getting probation. I was blessed for that.
As Jones reflects on his life, he realizes that he has a lot to be grateful for.
Well, I'm thankful for my freedom most of all, being able to have money and do what I want to do, being just free. I have no worries right now, no worries at all, so I'm just thankful for life.
Randy Jones hasn't seen the inside of a jail cell since 2011, and he says he plans to make sure it stays that way. Jasmine Skinner, Inside Jacksonville.
Now, Jasmine adds that Jones is now a merchant seaman and is ready to set sail to Hawaii within the next few months.
Coming up, a tale of redemption on this Thanksgiving weekend. You won't want to miss it.
And we'll meet a man who's also grateful to have a second chance in life after taking a wrong turn along the way. Stay with us.
Clean kitchen surfaces, utensils, and hands with soapy water. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Turning a 20-foot wall into a canvas takes vision. So will getting into college. I've got what it takes. So do you.
There will be millions of busy kitchens this Thursday as families prepare Thanksgiving dinner, a tradition as American as Norman Rockwell.
But that tradition is out of reach for some American families. Lacey Wyndham introduces us to one family that won't take their tradition for granted.
Every afternoon after work, Nina welcomes home her children from school. The kids do schoolwork or relax while Nina catches up on the news of the day. But things weren't always this good for her. Nina's family was once homeless. That's why she's asked us not to use her last name.
I had a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. You family, sometimes you stay together to pay for it better. So when they moved, I could no longer afford it. I didn't have a job at the time and everything. So that caused me to have to move out. So I called Family Promise, and they had an opening for me.
When Nina found her family homeless, she turned to Family Promise of Jacksonville. Family Promise gave her the opportunity to get the services and shelter she needed to get back on her feet. Mark Landshute, director of Family Promise of Jacksonville, says that Nina and her family did well in the program.
Nina was very easy to work with. The kids were very well behaved. She had very good parenting skills, very organized family. Actually, they're very intelligent. Her daughter, especially, Alicia's like a straight A student. The other kids do well in school. She had got employment.
For someone trying to get back on their feet, finding a job can be one of the hardest things to do. Nina is thankful that Family Promise gave her the opportunity to job hunt without worrying about how she would get there. Family Promise provided bus tickets and later a car for Nina to get to and from interviews.
I wasn't getting anything, or I didn't have a ride to the interview. When I did get it, my ride would fall through. So just things like that. And then when I got to Family Promise, it's like doors started opening up, I had a way to get, where I needed to go.
Nina and her family live in Family Promise's transitional housing. Families like Nina's pay $300 a month while they work to earn enough money for a home of their own.
Well, now I'm transitioning out, and I just feel support with that, so that's important. And I feel optimistic. I feel like, I'm going to do well. And I'm going to leave here, and we're going to go into a house, and it's going to be suitable. And I'm going to have full-time employment. As a matter of fact, I got another call today. So more interviews for me. So I feel optimistic.
Nina is working on moving her family out of transitional housing and into their own home. She believes that will happen in the next couple of months. Nina is thankful for Family Promise because she says without them, she would not be where she is now. Lacey Wyndham, Inside Jacksonville.
Everyone who's never made a mistake, raise your hands. I don't see any.
Well, I know I can't raise my hands because we're all human. We all mess up, and some mistakes are bigger than others. The important thing is how we're able to bounce back and make good.
Brittany Donovan has the story of one guy who's thankful for the help he's had in turning his life around.
This is Darian Jones. He's thankful for a lot of things, like his faith, job, and friends. He's been coming to the Greater Church of God by Faith on the West Side his whole life. Kathy Day is a close family friend. She met Jones here when he was 9. She says he's guided by his faith.
He knows that he will accomplish many things in life. He's a very hard worker. Not only that, he loves people.
When he's not at church or work, Jones is at home watching a movie or surfing the web. His place isn't lavish, but it's a lot cozier than a prison cell. Jones lived behind bars for 13 years. When he was finally released, he wasn't sure where to go or what to do. That's where Jacksonville Reentry Center came in.
I had no place to stay, so I got with J-Rec. They signed me a counselor, told him my situation, and he said, well, I'll tell you what. He said, we have some companies we work with that can provide you housing, and what we'll do is we'll pay for it the first 30 days you're out. So I was like, that's excellent. That's what I need.
JREC is a State Department of Corrections program that aims to reduce crime by helping ex-offenders. JREC works with community partners to provide food, housing, counseling, and other social services that help people like Jones succeed after their release.
We know that everybody that comes back is not at that teachable moment. They haven't made a decision to make that life change. But for those that have made the decision, my staff is here to assist them in continuing to make those positive choices.
Jones got work boots, food, and even a new pair of glasses from JREC after his release. His reentry specialist, Bob Backer, took him to renew his driver's license so he could get back on the road and start looking for a job. Backer also gave him life advice that stuck.
Whatever your dream is, your heart, go for it. And when you're working the other job, it's a temporary thing, follow through. Improve your skills or abilities, your education to get what you want to do. Don't worry about how much you'll make. You'll do fine.
So far, Jones is doing fine. It's been more than a year since he was released, and he's about to start a second job. He's come a long way, but says he won't forget who helped him to get where he is.
I'm grateful for what J-Rec did. You know what I'm saying? I would have been in a really bad predicament when I was first released. I mean, we're talking about no housing, no ID, no money, no food. And now look at me now. I now have a job. You know, I now am able to return back to JREC and now I can donate to them.
Jones hopes his story can help others going through the program. He says all it takes is a positive attitude and enough drive. Brittany Donovan, Inside Jacksonville.
You know, after 13 years of prison, I think I would be thankful just to be out.
Exactly, and I don't think people realize that when you spend that much time in prison, you are without, like he said, without an ID, a place to live. Maybe your family moved away, your friends are gone. So it's a lot of readjusting back to life, and JREC obviously offers a lot of good services.
Yeah, that's great that he could just, get himself right back on his feet as soon as he got out.
Exactly, and I'm sure he's very thankful for that. Well, don't go away. We have one more story left.
Still ahead on this Thanksgiving weekend of Inside Jacksonville, the story of one woman who's thankful for her family and her students.
Traditional light bulbs actually generate 9 times more heat than light. Switch to Energy Star light bulbs, and you'll realize just how much cash you are really burning through. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Welcome back to Inside Jacksonville on this Thanksgiving weekend.
Now, being part of a family business can be pretty rewarding, but it can also be stressful.
Jordan Price joins us live in the studio with a story about just that. Jordan?
It's a story of a dance teacher who's grateful for some of the bumps in the road that she had to overcome, and his family is now dancing into the future, literally. Buddy Sherwood owned this dance school for over 45 years before his daughter Luann Fair began to take over. Fair said it was an easy transition because she has been around it her entire life.
For me, it just flowed just from Dad right to me. I think it's just because all along, I've always taught for Dad. So it was year after year, I would just get a little bit more, and Dad semi-retired, and I started handling more of the business end plus the dancing.
There are a lot of things that go into being a business owner. Learning how to juggle work, home, and children was a challenge that Luann had to figure out.
And I think that was probably the hardest because it felt like it was just nonstop. I would be a mom all day long and handle business deals during the day, paying bills and those kind of things, running around doing my errands.
Fair says despite being busy, the joy that she feels from teaching makes it all worth it.
Probably the most I get out of it for me is the ability to be able to teach children. I really, really enjoy working with kids, so being able to see them accomplish dance steps or tumbling skills and how excited they get just really gets me excited.
Throughout the years, Fair has taught kids who now have children of their own and choose to bring their children to Buddy Sherwood School of Dance because of the family atmosphere. Leslie Scott is one of them.
So I started dancing here when I was 3 and danced here my whole life. Kind of became family with everyone here at the studio. So of course, once I had children of my own, once Kaylin turned 3, we started her out, which of course, and she's loved it and continued on, and the same with Ashlyn when she turned 3, and they're both still here, and they're here 4 nights a week.
In 2004, Luann was faced with open heart surgery as a result of suffering a mini stroke at the age of 44.
After the dance classes were all over, I was taping some music, sitting in a chair, had a great day, no issues, and at that time I had a little mini stroke, which from that point there led us into heart surgery.
Luann had to take some time off during the busiest part of the dance year, but it gave her daughter Allie a chance to work closely with the faculty at the studio and to realize her career path.
It kind of just was easy for me to fill in for her, and I think it was about that time that I knew that this is what I wanted to do. So as tragic as it was and as hard as it was, oddly enough, I'm thankful for that as well, because it really opened my eyes to know that this is where my heart was and this is exactly what I wanted to do.
Luann was thankful that she was able to recover from her open heart surgery and get back into running the family business to start the process of turning the business over to Allie.
Daddy had it over 60 years. I've ran it on my own for over 30 years. And now to be able to pass that on to Allie, and this just to continue, and it may even go past that if she has children, I can't think of anything that makes me more proud.
Luann is thankful for the life and opportunities she has been given and looks forward to retiring, knowing that the family business is in good hands with her daughter Allie. Annie and Ashley?
Thank you, Jordan. Now, Annie, all I could think about during that package is, didn't you used to dance?
I used to, and I still do, actually. I used to take it a lot more seriously, though. Now it's just for fun.
And I heard you still have all your shoes, right?
Yeah, of course. Dancers always keep them.
Must be a dancer thing. Well, that's a wrap for today's Inside Jacksonville.
If you missed anything from today's program, just click through to our website, go to unfmedia.com, and click on Inside Jacksonville. You'll find expanded versions of our stories, photos, interviews, and other extras.
Thanks for joining us this Sunday morning.
We'll see you next time, Inside Jacksonville.